YouTube, and welcome back to my Let's Play World of Warcraft on Wednesdays. So today we are doing Arcatraz in the Tempest Keep. This one is Arcatraz is very similar to the Botanica in terms of its being a floating Draenei something. I don't even know what they're supposed to be. But this one was meant to be a prison, and it held a lot of prisoners and things. And as we're entering here, we see there's a number of blood elves who are actually fighting some monstrosities that are kind of coming through. And the one thing that I had to remember was the fact that these monstrosities just keep coming. I kind of have to fight my way through them, but then I need to get past that because they just kind of keep spawning. This isn't one of those where you kill them and there's no respawns while you're within the instance. These just kind of keep coming, so as you can see here, so I just kind of have to fight my way through them as best as I can. I mean, there's some of them in this room that once I kill them, they're gone, but like I said, they just keep spawning and coming through. That's one of the reasons why the Blood Elves are constantly, like, just fighting continuously with them, because it's just sort of a never-ending spawn that kind of happens over time. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna get past that. That's one of the things you have to kind of remember with Arcatraz. I like that, that they call it Arcatraz, which is, kind of reminds me of Alcatraz. Oh yeah, these protein spawns come up anytime you go past a dead body. A protein spawn kind of spawns, I guess. And then there's these protein horrors and all sorts of things. I'm not entirely sure what the storyline was behind this particular instances and why it's kind of infested with all this stuff. But then we've got these core hounds called soul devourers, and we've got these floating tentacled eye head beast things. I don't even know what they're supposed to be called. These particular ones are called entropic eyes, but we see these particular creatures in a number of different areas. This is not the first time we've seen these creatures, and I'm not entirely sure if they're supposed to be all part of the same species. I would imagine they would be, because and we're doing more quests for Adal again. I like to consider him like a crystalline entity, which, if you're a fan of Star Trek at all, you'd be familiar with the concept of the crystalline entity. Things just completely ignoring me, so I'm like, I'll ignore you too. But the crystalline entity was a giant crystal life form that I guess lived off of the life force of other living things, and that's how the colony where Commander Data from Star Trek Next Generation, where he was originally built by Professor Noonien Sung, or Dr. Noonien Sung, that colony was destroyed by the crystalline entity, and Data was considered the only survivor. By the time the Federation got there, Data was the only one around, and was taken back to Starfleet, and eventually he actually joined the Academy and joined Starfleet and became an officer and everything, which I think was pretty cool. But we find out a lot about the crystalline entity. I think they even encounter and maybe even destroy the crystalline entity later on as well. But it was supposedly it was Lore who lured the crystalline entity to the colony in the first place, and had Lore is Data's brother, or basically another android, and also created by Noonien Sung, and Lore somehow got the crystalline entity to come and attack the colony in the first place. So anyway, that's enough Star Trek trivia for now, I guess. Not everyone here is watching wants to hear Star Trek trivia. Alright, so as we're progressing further in, we're finding more demons and things, and more higher level demons. This particular thing right here, there's two bosses, one on each side. There's the female one and the male one, and they're constantly arguing. You can actually see the argument that they're having in the text in the bottom left corner there, and they're kind of bickering with each other, and then you have to take them out one at a time. And this one I remember when we were doing this as a 5-man at level was fairly difficult. This is one that was pretty easy to wipe on if you weren't careful, because you had to kind of take them out, and they had different phases and things. I mean, I'm killing them so fast that they don't even get a chance to go through all their phases and stuff. But that was definitely one of the more difficult ones on this. And then of course the final battle, we actually get to fight a number of different, there's a final big boss, but there's a number of mini bosses you have to fight first as well. Alright, so I'll accept that now. Let's see, how do we get to, oh, there's a staircase over there. So kind of gonna get through there to get to the next level. And then you kind of get to the, basically what would be considered the maximum security holding cells, and that's where we'll get to the final boss. But first we gotta get there. Long staircase. Like everything else are nice arching glass ramps, or there might be glass, there might be force fields. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a glass or if it's supposed to be like a force field that's holding you up. I'm not sure, but really beautiful. I love the Draenei architecture in the game. That's one of the things I definitely like about World of Warcraft, is some of the beautiful architecture that they kind of come up with, especially with the Draenei. I was very disappointed that the Draenei ended up not being Horde. I do like playing Draenei. I actually have a couple of Draenei characters. I just don't like playing Alliance. Oh yeah, so we've got some ethereals here as well that we have to take care of. But yeah, no, I've never been a fan of playing the Alliance, and if you're in Alliance, if you play Alliance, that's okay. That's, you know, no skin off my nose on that one. Just I personally, the few times I have played Alliance, I find the people, at least on the server I play on, Tyrannus, the Alliance folks seem a lot more immature, like maybe younger. The Horde players seem to be older, or at the very least more mature players. I know the guild I'm in, we're all over the age of 18, and the majority are over the age of 30. And there's quite a few of us who are over the age of 40 in our guild. So we're all, so I'm used to interacting with grown-ups. And I guess I just haven't found the right group of Alliance grown-ups to interact with. Alright, so we're now in the maximum security area here. And we're having to take out this guy, and I'm not quite sure exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Trying to keep the prisoners in, or he's trying to let them out. I forget what his purpose is, but he puts a shield around himself so I can't attack him. And then he starts letting out the prisoners to attack me. First, the minor ones and stuff. I'm just kind of waiting for them to open. There's 4 cells, so there's 4 different things that we have to fight. So here's the first cell that he's opening. So I'll let that come open. Alright, so we've got the blazing trickster that we have to take out. Okay, big whoop. I mean, he is a mini boss, so he doesn't die nearly as quickly as the trash mobs in the area. So now he's going to open up the next one. And here comes, and this time it's a little gnome, and he's actually friendly. You can see he's green, and so he won't attack me. And yeah, he's actually supposed to be, he ultimately ends up helping with the main boss battle. Not a heck of a lot, but he tries to anyway. Alright, so now we're gonna get another mini boss. Alright, so we've got a Curus Lightning Walker. These storm creatures. Alright. He wasn't too much of a threat, so they're gonna take out this guy. And obviously back in the day, when you're doing this as a 5-man at level, each one of these fights takes, you know, a few minutes. I would say, you know, it's taking me, you know, not very long at all, but those would take, you know, a good 5 minutes at least for a group to get them. And then now here's the main boss. And this big kind of odd insecty kind of looking creature. He looks kind of like an upright roach. At least that's what it looks like to me, because those antennae are very roach-like in my opinion. And so, yeah, Harbinger Skyrus is his name, and we've got to have this little debate discussion where he's talking to the Warden Melikar here. And he kind of takes out the Warden. So we don't have to fight the Warden. It's like, alrighty. And then he's ready to take us on. So it's like, alright. And then he makes, you know, duplicates of himself. So this actually makes a fairly difficult fight. You can see here Millhouse, the little gnome, is helping us fight and stuff. But and it's actually a fairly long fight for a 5-man, I think. As I recall, it was one of the longer ones. I could be remembering that incorrectly, I don't know, but it felt, my memory says it was a decently long fight for a 5-man. Alright, so now we've got the final choice there, and then since this is a prison, this one doesn't have a nice little back door way out like the last one did in the Botanica, where once you hit the main boss, there was an exit right away, so I had to run all the way back, but I kind of took all that out. Anyway, that is it for the Arcatraz. Thanks for joining me this week, and look forward to next week in the Mechanar. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.